My nephew gave me a call and said that he was going to go out on the lake and fish for a while and wanted to know if I wanted to go with him. And of course I jumped at the occasion. My nephew is a professional catfish guide, a rather noteworthy one, and he hadn't been fishing for a while because of the weather, and he wanted to go out and just kind of see what was going on out on the lake. Didn't have a lot of time, but I told him right off that I'd be ready to go. My nephew normally drives about a 27-foot boat when he's doing his guide work, but today he brought a smaller boat, a little one-man or two-man boat that was custom built. He uses it a lot when he doesn't want to launch the bigger boat. The first thing you have to do when you get ready to go catfishing, of course, is to get some bait. He knew where there was a cove that he thought he could catch some shad in, so we headed up to the cove to try our luck. Sometimes it's as difficult to catch bait as it is to catch fish. He uses a combination of down image and side image technology along with sonar technology to catch his bait. The first time down, there were no signals on the fish finder. There were no shad. So he turned the boat around and went to the other side, and right off we started marking shad. Before he could actually catch the shad, he had to prepare the live well. He had to install the filter and take fresh water out of the lake and put into the live well. It's important that the water temperature not change from the time the shad come out of the lake and into the live well. A quick check of the locator showed that the shad were not directly under the boat, but they were close enough to give it a try. The boat is constantly moving around, and so are the shad. So it's sometimes difficult to get the net to come down in the right spot, even though you know the shad are in the area. After the first two tries at catching shad resulted in less than expected results, a quick check of the fish finder side image technology showed that there were shad on both sides of the boat. That meant that we were right on top of them. This time the results were different. We caught all the shad that we needed, plus a lot more. We kept some for bait and returned the rest of them to the water. Now that we had all the bait we needed, we headed up the lake to try to catch some catfish. When we arrived at the cove that my nephew wanted to fish, he decided that instead of going down into the cove, that he would anchor out in the mouth of the cove and try it there first. So he turned the bow of the boat into the bank and anchored it firmly in place. The rigging that he uses is to attach a circle hook to the end of a leader, and the other end of the leader is attached to a heavy sinker. Between the sinker and the circle hook is a styrofoam float that holds the bait up off of the bottom to lessen the chance that it will hang up. Sometimes he fillets the shad for the bait, and sometimes he doesn't. That depends on the size of the shad. He throws the bait out in a fan cast, one in the center, one to the right, and one to the left, to get separation between the rods. Periodically, he has to clean the filter to make sure that the shad stay alive.
I get to my shad now.
We fished there for about 20 minutes. Then he decided it was time for us to go down into the cove. No sooner had we gotten into the cove when we started marking fish on the locator. He turned on the GPS and started marking a track through the fish. When we stopped marking fish on the locator, he used his remote control to turn the boat around to start the trip back out of the cove. When the boat was lined up, he put a drift sock in the water. The purpose of the drift sock is twofold. One, to help keep the boat lined up properly, and the other one is to help control the speed. When the boat was lined up the way he wanted it, he threw the baits back in the water again, and then used his remote control to turn control of the boat over to the trolling motor. If you watch closely, you can see the trolling motor make minor adjustments as it follows the path that we laid down on our way down the cove. It felt funny just sitting there while the trolling motor was doing all the work. It didn't take long till we had a fish. It took only a few minutes until we had the second fish.
Surely that fish ain't never slaughtered it.
After releasing that second fish, my nephew had one other spot that he wanted to try. We anchored to the bank again, and once again it didn't take very long until we had a fish. We stopped briefly to take a snack break, but that didn't last very long either before another fish hit the hook. We lost this fish, and my nephew was running late. So we had to stop what we were doing and head back to the dock.